What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. So I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. I had to restart my whole computer because my microphone wasn't working. So I do apologize. For those that are actually tuning in right now, if you guys want to comment, and once I get the confirmation that you guys can hear me, my computer shows that there is audio. I just want to be 100% sure. So I sent out the link a couple seconds ago. There should be a couple people tuning in right now. But for those that are tuning in for the first time, I do want to thank you guys again for taking time out of your Sunday or for whatever
To be honest,
for whatever the time is right now, or day it is that you're participating in. I do want to thank you. So TechBud Solutions is a peer-to-peer networking group. I basically created the group to kind of teach traders or investors, entrepreneurs all across the world the basics and fundamentals of trading penny stocks. But it's grown so much more than that. So I got thumbs up for the audio. So we're good on that. So for those that kind of just want to get a little bit of a better understanding on how to get into investing, how to get into business, how to get into entrepreneurship, this is the group to be. It is a free group that I've developed. The link is going to be provided for you down in the description. It's a free group you can join. We're about 1,500 members now worldwide, which is like astonishing. As I started this group a little bit less than a year ago, again, it's just been word of mouth and my videos that have really just caught on for the little, in a sense, team or army that I've been able to grow together. We are expected, based on last year's kind of numbers. I'm going to make a whole video about this, but we're expected to break over $1.5 million collectively as a group in gross profit. Last year, we were a little shy under $1 million with the members that we had actively trading. So I think that it's mind blowing that I was, I'm not saying that it was me. Obviously, it's not me that's actually, putting in the work, but it's that I've provided the platform that has assisted, hundreds of entrepreneurs based on, 2016 that were able to generate, nearly $1 million. And it's definitely like a true blessing, being able to like help people. I love being able to help people any way that I can. So if you guys have any idea, or if there's anything that you think I can do to be a part of your success, my email is also provided for you down in the description. I'd love to speak to you if any of you have ever spoken to me in person or over email. You can tell that I'm definitely here to try to help you out. And if I can't do anything to assist you in your success, then I can at least guide you in the right direction, or maybe put in a good word for you when it comes to a friend or another individual within our group that can assist you with that. So let's go ahead and get started. So these weekly recaps for those that are joining for the first time, these Sunday stock talks are pretty much recaps on last week's tradings, my best practices, my mistakes, what to look out for this new week to come. And there's going to be one rule or one key concept that I'm going to kind of just expressed during this video, and it's going to be about gappers and why gappers are so important. And for those that are new to trading, probably don't understand what that is. And I've really been able to discover what videos you guys truly benefit from. As you guys can see, I love making car videos. That doesn't really benefit you guys in any way. It's more of like an entertainment, and there's a lot of that on YouTube. I want to be a little bit different. I want to provide you guys with content and information that can truly benefit you guys in your careers of being entrepreneurs or investors in any market. So a lot of you, have a lot of things going on. You guys are students, you guys are full-time workers, and you guys are running your own business. Just a wide band of people that are within TechBuds. One thing that we all have in common is that we either want an extra source of income or want to do trading full-time. And that is amazing. I think, they say the average millionaire has 7 sources of income. So I think if you truly limit yourself to one source of income, when you can implement a little bit more of your time into something that can lead, to a little bit of higher income, that can help you qualify for an investment property, that can help you buy your dream car, that can kind of alleviate some financial freedom for you and your family, whatever it is that's motivating you. To jump onto the second source of income is I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think it's a great thing that you guys have reached out to me, and no matter who it is that I am, I think you being able to surround yourself with these people that are that make up our group is truly what's going to benefit you in life. I'm pretty much here just to provide the platform and make sure that everything that is taught and that is expressed within our group is good quality information. But you guys, if you'll join a network within the group and to reach out to people that you think are going to kind of lead to your success. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I am seeing now from the live chat that is provided for you down below. If you guys have any questions, reach out to me and I can answer some of your questions like that. So one of the first questions that I have by Dante, what do I think about Forex? I've tried different types of investing when it comes to like online currency, Forex, momentum trading, options, as you guys can see in all my, and the reason I caption everything as being like technical analysis, I believe I can provide the best quality information when it comes to technical analysis. As you guys can see, I do daily recaps, and I tend to be pretty good. And I have a whole game plan and a whole system when it comes to trading technical charts. So I look at the company, analyze the company, look at the charts, look for technical balances as in safety, support levels or resistance levels, and I set up a whole game plan on where I'm buying in, where I'm selling, and where I'm cutting losses. And that has led to my success. I have tried, I'm always open to new markets and new opportunity, but teaching good quality content, I don't think I would be a good teacher. I know I wouldn't, just because I'm not successful in that market. So for all those that have found a guru or a mentor that's successful in different markets of trading forex, options, currency, whatever it is, you guys can reach out to them, ask them if you want to be a part of this group, and I would not mind sharing a part of this group for those people that want to learn how to trade forex, to develop a whole different channel for this individual and provide them with the TechBuds platform. I think that'd be a beautiful thing. Again, the whole concept of this group is for you guys to learn how to trade, what to trade, and why to get trade. I want to make sure that you guys truly understand that you guys are getting a good buy and can identify these margins of profit, and being able to develop a whole system on where you're buying, where you're selling, and where you're cutting losses that would lead to your success. You can use that market when it comes to anything, when it comes to buying and selling cars, when it comes to buying and selling houses. It's a very simple concept, but it's very hard for people to not grasp, because it's a very easy concept to understand. It's a very difficult concept to execute. People get very emotional when it comes to investing. People get kind of get over it, or aren't just always feeling it because of things get in their way, or just life gets in the way, and that's totally understandable. It takes a disciplined entrepreneur to be able to set up a whole game plan and systematically, continuously, repeatedly be able to execute with the same terms and with the same guidelines, and that is what's going to lead for your success. So being able to set up a whole game plan before you buy in a stock, before know where you're buying, know where you're selling, and know where you're cutting losses, that is truly what's going to lead to your success. And I think that's why this group has grown so quickly. We've seen nearly a 500 member increase within our group within the past week and a half. That's ridiculous. So my YouTube channel, again, it's still relatively a small YouTube channel, about nearly 1,400 subscribers. But if you guys see, I gave it a shout out on breaking 1,000 subscribers about a week ago. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think it definitely, expresses and proves that the principles and the concepts that we try to teach here at TechBuds Solutions are very, clear and simple. No fancy tools, anything like that. That's to come later with, we're really trying to develop good quality tools and resources that you could get, that, the members within our group can better utilize to be more of a successful trader, make it easier for you guys. Nothing like, just that weird stuff on, having to join groups for group chats. Definitely don't want to go that way when it comes to how TechBuds, is right now. I feel like with the quality content that we do produce, is truly going to lead to the success of the group, because of all the hardworking, individuals and entrepreneurs that make up our group. So I'm done talking with someone saying that, dude, I think I saw something behind you. My girlfriend's actually doing her homework right back there. So yeah, you want to say hi?
Hello.
That's her. So yeah, I think that was Dante. All right, do your homework. I'm really sorry about that. I did not mean to kind of push away from that. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start sharing my screen because I have to restart my computer. Not all my windows are up, but I did want to talk about, again, we're doing recaps. We're doing my best practices from the past week of trading, since we do these talks weekly, and what to look out for this new week. I want to make sure that you guys understand that right now, big companies like GoPro, Apple, Amazon, Facebook are all releasing Q1 reports. And with that, there's either big dips or big pops. We're, as day traders, want to look for those big dips, because when those companies see big dips, if you guys look at their trends, by year, you actually see trends when it comes to when they release their Q1 reports. They tend to not be so good, and the reason why is because they don't hit their quota or what they expected to hit during the holidays. And for investors, although it repeats itself, very often, is not a good sign. So what we can simply do, I'm going to provide you with GoPro, which is a perfect example on the trends that it has. So I'm going to show you from month on what months it tends to rise, what months it tends to decline. And for those swing traders, being able to identify themselves as individuals that can't day trade. So for you, if you're busy with school, work, or whatever it is that you can't day trade with us actively, being able to at least be a swing trader and checking your charts or checking the stock itself weekly or monthly and making sure that it's staying on track, this could be a stock that you should be looking out for. And for those that saw last week's trade, I did end up trading GoPro. I was able to profit $212 with my day trading account, and I was able to do that with a company that's a Fortune 500 company worth over $1 billion. And the reason why, it's because I'm able to identify these trends, and you're going to see that there's going to be a lot of potential because of this time for those that have sales, and for those companies that sell just materialistic items weren't able to hit their quotas for for Christmas, and the Q1 reports are going to release and express that information. And with us day traders, we have to identify the margins of profit that we have based on its trends and be able to jump on that. So again, I think a lot of you guys are visual learners, and I'm going to just start sharing my screen, and hopefully you guys understand. Again, I do have the chat that is available right down. So for those that are trading actively, feel free to ask me any questions, okay? All right, so I'm using Fidelity as my technical analysis brokerage company. I still use Robinhood for my day trades. I do use Fidelity sometime, and I do manage a little bit more of my 401k with Fidelity. So definitely a good brokerage company. It's a good quality brokerage company. They have really good reps that are easy to reach out to. So it's a good company to do long-term trades. It's definitely not because of the commission, something that I would always recommend for day trades. But they do provide you with really nice, platforms and tools and resources that you can utilize to become a successful trader. And I don't believe there is a minimum account. You'd have to reach out to a rep because there's multiple accounts you can open, and they all come with different restrictions. So if you're thinking of opening like a brokerage or a traditional Roth account, they all come with different limits and different restrictions and different, just what is it called? Just like a minimum balance and stuff like that. So I believe the minimum balance for a traditional like IRA account is I believe $50, and then some go up to like $2,500 depending on which ones you open. If you guys would like me to look into that a little bit more, then let me know, and I'll try to see if I can make a video for you guys. So again, looking into GoPro. So I'm going to do a 2-year analysis to keep it simple. I know that as you guys can see, I'm not too sure if you guys know much about GoPro. So I believe it's a guy named Nick Woodman who founded the company, CEO and founder. Once he went public, was estimated to be worth about $15 billion. He's now worth $1.5 billion, simply just because of the decrease in value of the company. Now they're talking about a possible buyout for GoPro just because of the value, and it might be an attractive offer for a company that might want to buy GoPro because of how low the price is right now. Not 100% sure. It's just an article that I was reading. As you can see, it capped out at $95. Most likely not going to see a spike like that. Realistically, that's not what we hope for when it comes to day trading. We're very realistic, especially here at TechBuds. So what we want to look for are trends. And again, this is for swing traders. So we're going to start from January all the way to today. So we'll have it right there. So December, as you guys can see, December, usually as right here, December, this is 2014, this is 2015, and then this is 2016. So December, as you guys can see, there was a pretty big spike, and then, the drop. So it could have been a Q1 report that was released, saw the drop. It tends to drop and start to pick up around March to April, right? During this area, you hit a safety. So we call that a support where it tends to bounce. So hitting that safety around, the $37.12 area, and then it hit a resistance right around this point, so around $50. Although it did go above it, that is a resistance level, and the way that I can identify that is actually because of this. As once it went below, so coming back here during 2014, it hit highs of 70, came here, and then once it went below 50, I apologize, $60, it actually just had a huge drop. So understanding that this is a resistance is key when doing a technical analysis. So knowing that the bounce is here, so this is a support around $37, resistance around 59. So now you want to look at the month on when it tends to pick up. It tends to pick up during March to April. At least it did 2015, right? And then you see it decline again from August to September, and this is 2015. And it goes down, and then this is during the holiday season. After December, Q1 report could have been released, and saw another dip. Again, now when does it pick up? So we're gonna have to go a little bit closer, just because now it's trading a little bit under $20. So going a little bit closer. It had that big drop again. That could have been a Q1 report that was released. Had that big drop. Had a safety right around that $8.60 area, and then picked up, right? We could see a resistance around $14 and came back, hit that support level at $8.60 as it hit, a couple months back, and then was able to pick up. It saw a pickup around, from May to June. So 2015, we saw a pickup from March to April, and during this last year, it was actually from May to June. So what you can see is during like the spring seasons, it tends to have somewhat of a pickup. And what you can try to do is catch it at those low points. Now looking into how it did throughout the remainder of the year, there's these like technical bounces. So again, we're able to identify the safety around 11. So it was a safety, hit a resistance at 14, came down, hit the safety, hit 14, went below it, and then it sort of broke the support level, hit the lows of the 860, kind of just like it did earlier months before, and it started bouncing, plateaued, and then broke above it. We've talked about that trend before. When it also comes down, bounces, and then breaks below, it also applies to resistance levels. So it can go bounce, doesn't break it, bounce, doesn't break it. And as these drops, as you guys can see, get a little bit smaller from here to here, you're going to see a breaking point. So it bounces, doesn't drop as low, hits the resistance, bounces again, bounces, drop, and kind of plateaus, and then breaks it. And then now it's going trading above the $11 to $14 mark. Broke that resistance. It has about of 18, and then once it broke below $11, started bleeding down, and is now bouncing around that 860 area. So understanding that, in a sense, its level 1 support would be around 860, and level 1 resistance would be about $11. Understanding that is key. So when it comes down to the 860, does not mean just because it hasn't broken it in its history, does not mean that it won't break it. So having a whole plan set up. So for those swing traders or those that want to trade it, a good buying area, according to this technical analysis, would be anything around the 860 to 950 area would not even be a bad buy. Cutting your losses. I try to cut my losses at 2.5%. But again, if you're trying to be a swing trader and you want to hold this a little bit more long term, then understanding that there's a support at 860. If it breaks below it and it's never broken below it before, most likely it's going to continue to bleed to unknown areas. So I'd suggest cut losses anything below 860. You can give it some percentage or some margin, but I'd try to stay as close as you can to 860. And then understanding that there's a resistance at $11. So if you guys saw my trade when I caught it at, I believe it was like 10.59, and I was able to sell at 10.94. The reason I sold at 10.54, although it did go above it, it hit highs of 11.08. The reason I knew that I was a resistance area was because of this technical analysis that I performed. And I shouted out to the group. I let the group know that I'm going to sell at before the resistance at $11, because I was able to identify the resistance, and I was day trading it, so I didn't care too much about the long term or the potential pop that it had. If you guys want to set up a successful game plan, understand the points that you want to buy in at. So anything above the 860 tends to be a good buying area. Anything below the $11 mark tends to be a good sell area. And if you want to be a swing trader, just understand those just support levels and resistance levels, which can lead to success. You don't have to be day trading this actively. Just try to get it at the bounce around the 860 area. Set alerts when it goes below, if it goes below 860, and then set set alerts once it continues to rise. So being able to identify these support levels and resistance levels are really what's going to lead to success. GoPro, there's a lot of talk about different things that are happening with GoPro. There's a lot of talk about what's happening with GoPro. They were talking about a potential merger with Apple. I believe that was mainly just all talk, or maybe they might get bought out by Apple, just because they're also talking about the buyout with Beats. And after Apple bought Beats, now they're thinking now they're gonna buy GoPro for better quality cameras, since now they have better quality sound system. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Again, I'm a day trader. I'm really good with technical charts. For those swing traders, it is key to, in a sense, sign up for newsletters. They're free newsletters. You can sign up through Fidelity. Or anything that has to do with GoPro, you guys can set up a whole system on, they release the Q1 reports, Q2, Q3, Q4, and just stay up to date with just the news that's going around with GoPro. I definitely think at the point where it's at right now is definitely look out for. There is a trader within our group that is pretty successful when it comes to swing trading. His name is Justin Lawrence, and he's actually the young investor that I met up with last week when I was trading ATEC or ASTC. And it was a successful day. I was talking to him about different things that we can do in working together. But the thing that he told me was that since he didn't have time because he's a full-time student and he was working, was that he swing trades and he was pretty successful at it. And now I'm partnering him up with different individuals within our group. An effort for those that can't capitalize on day trading, at least they can stay up to date on just companies that aren't so volatile, but they can catch them at the low points, ride them to the high points, and still use the same concept that we teach at TechBud Solutions, but being able to do it at their own pace. And I think that's the beautiful thing. You guys don't have to be trading actively because although I trade for 2 hours, daily. Be doing that because they work at 6, they work at 5 in the morning, and I want to make sure that I can, in a sense, provide a platform that or just mentors or individuals that can assist you in your success when it comes to all different sorts of markets. So if you guys are interested in doing more of swing trading or want to do both day trading and swing trading, as I do, reach out to me, and then I'll set you guys up with Justin Lawrence. I hope he's okay with me putting him kind of on the spot with this. He said he was open to the idea, so I definitely think that it would be, to have him as a part of our kind of just someone to look up to, not just because of what he's done, but an individual that you can ask questions on kind of stocks to look out for. I think he said Justin Lawrence tends to be a good one, and Joshua Cooper is also another one that I've been able to notice within our group that are successful swing traders. There's also another guy that is a good friend of mine. His name is John Dolan, and he's one that has had successful just long-term trades like Netflix. And Cooper was able to capitalize on Netflix as well, and Justin as well. There's just different individuals, and that have been successful with swing trading. So I definitely think for those individuals that are interested in that, then I'll definitely set you up. So there's a bunch of you in the chat that's actually are saying about like McDonald's and all that stuff. I mean, I'll look into it, but yeah, it looks like you guys are really open to the idea about swing trading. And then there's a couple, yeah. But I definitely think that'd be a good idea. So it seems like you guys are open to the idea. So I'll reach out to Justin, and I'll try to set up a separate group. I mean, you guys can definitely still be a part of TechBuds, but a group that is also designed to help you guys and kind of send you out alerts when it comes to different companies that are more stable companies, and that's the whole idea. You guys are, in a sense, involved with those companies since they're legit, sometimes Fortune 500 companies that don't move around so much. So being able to identify the low points and putting, thousands, hundreds of dollars, a little bit more than you would with a penny stock, and the risk is a lot lower. The reward can be, about the same 5 to 10%, but it just takes a longer time to get there. So no matter what it is that you guys can do, I definitely want to make sure that you guys understand the principle of investing and can identify those stocks. And by doing that, I can at least put you in the platform that can provide you with a little bit more of a variety of, a watch list of successful stocks to look out for. So I'll go ahead and do that for you guys this upcoming week. And I have a really good amount of videos that I think are going to be a little bit more of an educational video on different steps since we've had so many new traders come along, on how to get started, what to look out for, and stuff like that. So we definitely have a lot of videos like that coming up this week. So if you guys would love to be a part of that, make sure you guys subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and go back into it. So I'm going to start sharing my screen again and then talk to you guys about my best practices. Alrighty. So one of the biggest things this week that I made a mistake on was not locking in my profits when I was in the green. It really upset me when RGSE, I was up $140, I believe, and then all of a sudden it took a dip when it hit, I think it hit a resistance at 80 cents, and I knew that was a resistance. But being, I don't want to say greedy, or not sugarcoating it. I really was trying to hit the resistance at 90 to lock in the profits, and I didn't. I was about to remove my stop loss, put my limit order at 90, and then all of a sudden it had a huge dip. So let's see if I could actually find that, and then we'll go ahead into it. So it wasn't RGSC. All right, sorry about that, guys. So ATEC is definitely a stock that we're trading quite often. It had a huge, it had a circuit breaker, went below, it hit lows of 263 if I'm not mistaken. A lot of you were able to capitalize on that based on my alert. Some of you were able to jump in. It was halted, and then you guys were able to sell above $3. So being able to bring in nearly 20 to 30% profit on that trade alone. And now it's been bouncing pretty well around this area. So it's been able to, you can identify the support level around 280. The reason why is because it hit 280, went up, almost hit 280, went up, almost hit 280. So it's showing upward momentum, and then it dropped down again. So with this week to come, as long as we can catch it within the 280 to 290 area, that tends to be a good buying point, and a good sell point tends to be anything from $3 to $3.10. And being able to identify these key components, or just these key areas of buying point and sell point are what's going to lead to your success. So being able to buy in anything around 280 to 290 tends to be a good buy point, and then being able to sell around $3 to $3.10 tends to be a good sell point. So again, ATEC is a company that has very low volume within its stocks. So as you guys can see, the volume is actually located right here where my cursor's at, and being able to hover over these, you see in the thousands, sometimes in the hundreds when it's just a very small line. So not a lot of sales going through. So you want to make sure that you're very decisive when it comes to, or very picky when it comes to where you're buying in and where you're selling. And understand that there's a support level at 280, and once it drops below 280, you're most likely going to see a drop all the way down to 263, as that is where it hit originally and then bounced up. So just understanding that as in safety, resistance, and then the other support level, and setting a stop loss at $2.79 would be ideal to minimize loss. So being able to set up a whole game plan like this is truly what's going to lead to your success. So I have my alert set when it goes below $3. Once it goes below 290, as I can see if it bounces, and if it bounces, I'll be able to buy in and then sell, and I'll be sending out the alerts as they come for this upcoming week. And that's my technical analysis on ATEC. So that was my analysis on GoPro, and then we're going to be talking about RGSC. So RGSC, right away, this is a 5-day analysis, as you guys can see right there. So I'm going to draw a support level. And just again, a 5-day analysis, I can see that there's a simple support right there. And the reason why is because it bounces, kind of plateaus, and then picks back up, comes down. It has gone below, as you guys can see, but doesn't hold very well below that point. It tends to pick up. So overall, what you guys can tell is based on this 5-day period, and the reason I can tell that there's the resistance right there is because it peaked out, as you can see with this candlestick, around the 275 to 276 area, and it has done so here as well, and then here as well. So not being able to break above it, not being able to, if they do break above it, it doesn't hold very well. They did break above it, could have been, a pump and dump, and then came back down. Again, didn't hold above it. So understanding these key points of safety nets and resistance levels, and where to set stop losses, and being able to minimize loss, promote growth, and having a whole game plan like we do every time we trade is, again, what's going to lead to your success. Okay. I'm sorry. I was trying to read some of your comments when it came to the live chat. So for this upcoming week, where I have my alerts is, as you guys can see with RGSC, I'm going to get a little bit closer to where we're at right now. It's starting to come back down. So it's getting a little bit closer to this 260 support area, as it did last week. So it looks like it plateaued for a little bit. Not too sure if it's going to do that. It looks like it, touched, and then it plateaued, and it's already done that touch. And now we're going to see kind of just stay stagnant at around 260. So being able to make sure that you buy in anything close, as close as you can get to the 260, and set a stop loss anything below it. Although it did pick up right away, you don't always know since it has dropped below 260 before. So being able to minimize loss. So my whole game plan when trading RGSC for this upcoming week, if it continues to stay above 260 would be buying in anywhere around 260 to 263 would be a good buy point, and sell around the 273, 274 tends to be a good sell point as it bounces and then picks up. And again, this is all within a day. So if you guys could see, this is February 3rd. This is all movement that it's been able to do with that within a day. So being able to buy in at open, being able to ride it up, sell, buy in again, and then sell. You're able to catch it twice, nearly 10% profit, and being able to identify these support levels and resistance levels are crucial. So I'm going to have my alerts on when it goes below 265, as it's kind of showing a support area right there. So I'm not even sure if we're going to see it, continue to bleed down to the 260. Hopefully it could bounce at 265, and if it does, I'll alert you guys. But set alerts when it drops below 265. Set alerts if it drops below 260. And I'd say a buy point would be anything for myself around the 260 to 264 area, and stop loss at $2.59 to minimize loss, and to sell or anything below 275. So getting close to that resistance level is very important, and not getting too greedy and being able to lock in profits. One of the things that I did very poorly this week was I thought it was with RGSC. It was one that I traded, I believe, Thursday or Friday, but it was one that I was up, $140, I believe, 144, and then all of a sudden, once it peaked up, it just dropped down, and I stop loss down. So my stop loss was right below the buy point. I ended up losing like $11 with that trade, but I was up $142. And the principle is, when you're in the green, you're in the green, and if you're up more than 8%, you should set a trailing stop loss. And what that means, if you guys have Robinhood, as a majority of you guys do, what that means is, as if you got in at a great price. So I'm going to give you guys an example for RGSC. Let's say you get in at 260 when it bounces and it starts to rise. You guys can understand that it was holding pretty well around 265. So what you can do is, as it goes above 265, you can set once you bought in around 260, you can remove your stop loss from $2.59 to $2.64. And the reason why is, all of a sudden, if it takes a dip, you'll at least lock in that 4-cent profit you have. And as it continues to rise, you can remove that stop loss, and then increase your stop loss to lock in more profit. And as it continues to rise, you guys can continue to do that. So all of a sudden, if there's like a huge move in volume or a huge spike in volume that can lead to a downward spike, at least you have a stop loss set. You're only leading or kind of creating a system to lead to your success by following with a stop loss. Yes, one of the kind of downfalls of that is, all of a sudden, if it takes a dip and then picks back up, you'll stop loss out, you'll lock in a small amount of profit when you could have locked in a little bit more. But again, having these principles and these systems, especially for those new traders, are very important. And if you guys can kind of discipline yourself to be able to go by these, then that's truly what's going to lead to your success. So that is what a stop loss is. Okay. There were a couple questions that I had with the. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. I did have a couple questions in the chat room, so I'm going to start answering them right now. There's a guy that's saying. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna get into it. So Rick says my watch list is CERU, which is a really good one that did very well this week. So that's definitely a good one to watch out for. That's actually one that I'm gonna be talking about. So I'm gonna that's one that I was gonna talk about for the gappers, and that's great that you brought that up. So it definitely looks like you know what you're talking about when it comes to stocks to look out for. I wouldn't necessarily say they're at the good buy points right now. But I'm going to kind of explain to you guys on why I think, based on its trend, had such a successful day last week, because of what we call our gappers. I think that's very important for you guys to know, especially as day traders, because there are gap scanners that you guys can utilize to be able to identify stocks that have gaps of margin. And again, I'll have that whole talk in just a bit. I want to see if I can answer any questions. It says, what is your annual return? That is from Lucas Swindle. So my annual return, a lot of you guys were asking me on how much I invest. And when you think about the people that are within our group of tech puts, there's people that risk, $50, $100, and there's investors or entrepreneurs within our group that invest nearly, 10, 25, $30,000 more than I do. In my account with Robinhood, because of the limits that it has of having less than $25,000, I fund a majority of my time, the $25,000, to be able to day trade as many times as I want. I don't like having the full $25,000 in that account at all times, so I do move it around quite often from there to my bank account if I need it, or I can just move it back if I don't. So what I tell you guys is, although when you guys ask me, is like, yeah, I have a $2,500 or 25,000 to $30,000 brokerage account. I don't risk that, and I make sure I clarify on that. I'm not here to prove myself to anyone. I'm not here to risk. Risking more does not mean you're a more like elite trader. I want to make sure that you guys understand that you're not here to prove anything to me. You're here to prove something to yourself and being able to ensure that you guys are taking your hard-earned money and being able to grow it. And that's the whole point of investing. So instead of, trying to invest, you're like, oh, I feel comfortable investing, $5,000. So you're telling me that if you lose those $5,000, you're going to be okay. And that's how you guys have to understand that. So if I lose the $30,000, although it's not going to kill me, I'm not okay with losing $30,000. Therefore, I'm not going to risk $30,000. And especially for those new traders that don't truly understand the fundamentals of trading, you guys should not be risking more than $1,000. A very important just component that you guys can, or a tool that you guys can use, is instead of buying multiple shares of company when you guys are trying to learn how to trade, if you guys simply buy one share of a company and see the percentage of growth that you guys see within that. Let's say you see a 10% growth within a $1 stock, you sell 10 cents. Do the math in your head, scale it out. If you had $1,000, 10%, you would have made $100. And if you can continuously repeat that process within 1 to 2 weeks, and lock in within those 2 weeks, nearly out of those 5 trades within a week, you're able to have 3 successful trades, and then you minimize loss. You're able to lock in on average, since you hit your 10% profit within 3 days and minimize loss at 1 or 2%. You saw an overall, well, with 3 trades, 30% and losing, so 28% growth within that week. Just scale it out, see how much you're going to make within the month in a whole. And if you would invest a little bit more, you can progressively grow your account. What my whole plan is as I continue to improve with my skills of trading, because I learned so much from you guys. I learned different stocks because of the exposure that TechBuds allows me to have access to with different stocks you guys are talking about, as well as the different best practices that you guys share and mistakes that you guys share. That's the whole point of this group. Instead of being so just driven by the amount of profit that all these people are making, try to focus a little bit more on the best practices and mistakes they are sharing, because that's what's going to lead to your success, especially if you're a new trader. Being able to identify mistakes and best practices, and being able to utilize those and become a better trader yourself, is going to benefit you in the long run. So my account being, let's say, when it's at its full just power, is $30,000. I risk $3,000 per trade. I never risk $30,000. At most, I risk 5,000, and that is for more stable companies like GoPro, and companies that I feel I can truly understand. So being able to do that, and risking $3,000, and the reason I risked $3,000, once I started TechBuds, I was risking $1,000, and then I progressively grew to $1,500, then to $2,000, then $2,500, and I pretty much was increasing my account by $500 about every quarter. Now I'm increasing my account either every month or every 2 months by $500, and as I continue to learn and just learn new ideas, learn new trends, and learn from my mistakes as well, and from your best practices, will make me a better trader, which I can believe in myself that I can risk those extra $500 within 2 months because of the knowledge that I have been able to develop because of this group and because of my experience. So I want to make sure that you guys understand that it's not about how much you guys are making right now, but just the concept and education that you guys are learning when it comes to trading and how you guys can scale that out. If you guys can lock in, 10% profit per trade with $100 and are able to do that for a month straight, just imagine, you're working your normal job, you continuously fund, your account every paycheck, $100, $200, and as it continues to grow later on, as you continue your best practices and setting up these, strict rules and concept of buying low, selling high at supports and resistance, cutting losses short, and you're able to lock in this 10% profit later on with the $10,000 account, being able to lock in $1,000 per trade, being able to day trade, twice or three times a day. You guys can potentially and easily with the concept that we have, been able to develop. Like you guys do the math, scale it out, and you guys can see that you guys can be locking in, $1,000, $3,000 with a simple $10,000 account. And although that does seem unrealistic for some of you, as you guys continue to, save your money, continue to progressively grow your money, it's definitely a career that you guys could potentially be if you guys stay disciplined, if you guys stay close to your rules. So hopefully you guys understand that. So with your annual return, going back to that question, I usually see anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 2,000% return within my trade, within my account because of my day trades. Again, I shoot for 10%, but because of my experience and what I've been able to learn from my trades, I try to now lock in profits, even if it's 5 or 8%. But I lock in more green than I do red days. As you guys can see by my track sheet with the daily recaps, I share all my trades with you guys. I share how much I'm going in with you guys. I tell you guys where I'm buying in, where I'm selling, where I'm cutting my losses. And I don't want you guys to mimic any of my trades. I want you guys to truly understand, what it is that I'm trading. As I continue to learn more, you guys are going to be able to do the same because you guys are more, focused on the principle of trading rather than, mimicking my trade. In the long run, if, you're no longer trading with TechBot Solutions, how are you supposed to continue to make these, 10% gains daily? I want to make sure that you guys, grasp the concept and then be able to utilize that concept on your own. So hopefully you guys can understand that. By using ShareTrader, which is risky business. Okay. And I'm going to make a separate video, and I do want you guys to kind of be patient about this. And it's the video you guys are asking about, kind of day trades and Robinhood. And I want to make a couple of videos, maybe like 1 or 2 videos about Robinhood and all it has to offer, to clarify on some questions that you guys have. So please, I don't want to answer this question because I feel like I've kind of been branching off in the Sunday Stock Talk, but I'll make videos this week to come about Robinhood and all it has to offer. Okay, now I'm going to get back into the technical analysis. It looks like you guys are sharing your different watch lists, which is great. So if you guys want to share that, I am going to share my watch list with you guys, since a lot of you are trying to grow, your watch list. Just because they're in my watch list does not mean that you guys have to trade them. I don't day trade or trade some of them. So I want to make sure that you guys know that it's kind of just to grow your watch list and to be able to use the concept of being able to analyze these charts. And if you guys see potential, then you guys can jump on them as well. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. I'm going to do one more analysis on one stock, and then share, since I already shared a mistake, I'm going to share best practice this week. Okay, now we're going to be going into CERU. The reason this one became very popular, especially if you guys use StockTwits, and the reason why is because of the huge, it was trading anything around 80 cents to 90 cents, and it shot up all the way to $1.60. So it nearly saw 100% profit or 100% increase within the stock. And the reason we're able to identify this is a 1-month analysis. Being able to identify the supports and the resistance are going to be, crucial. It's something we always do, again, being a technical trader. So being able to identify the support around 75 cents and being able to identify the resistance at around 92 cents. So the reason that we're able to identify that this could be a potential gapper was because of the margin. So this is unknown area, unknown territory above 93 cents, right? and being able to know that it hits 93 and it comes back down. If it breaks 93, it all of a sudden tends to have a really big spike. And let's see if I can go a little bit further back and be able to see that. Yeah, so you guys are able to see that it had a huge margin to make up, and it wasn't able to break all the way to the resistance of 250. But this huge gap, since it had a huge drop, when companies have huge drops, sometimes it picks back up to that drop within a couple days or minutes, but sometimes it takes months, as you guys can see. And again, these are what we call gappers. So being able to identify these gaps of, potential margin of profit is really going to be helpful with these huge trades, and that's something that these are called momentum traders, and it's something that I've tried out before. I'm not very successful when it comes to momentum trading, but again, I'm good at being able to analyze them and being able to identify these margins of profit that are easily able to be identified. So once it broke this margin of 93, I believe this was on the 3rd. It was pre-market hours. It was already up here. It set its support level around 110, and it set its resistance level right around this 160. So now it was bouncing within that area, and then now we're going to see it bleed back down, most likely hit 110, and once it hits 110, you're going to see it just drop and hit the support around 93, and then continue to slowly bleed down to the 75 cent. So this is what I wanted to talk to you guys about the concept for today. Was pretty much gappers, and it's something that we've been able to trade quite often, especially with penny stocks, since they do have sudden drops, kind of like GoPro. So going to GoPro, it had all of a sudden a sudden drop because of that Q1 report that it released, when it went below, when it hit $11 and then dropped all the way down to 860. So now it has this margin of profit to be able to jump back in from the 860 to $11 area. Although obviously CERU is a little bit more known as a penny stock because of just the lower cap stock it is, or just lower value. It had nearly 100% profit or growth within that trade. So being able to identify these gappers with being able to identify the resistance and how it could break the resistance, set a new support, and then being able to trade it with that. So that's pretty much my analysis on CERU. We are going to be, if you guys again want to join the group chat, send me an email at techbuds@mail.com, and then feel free to join the group TechBud Solutions. The emails, the links are going to be provided for you down below. So we do have the pre-market watch list and the pre-market movers, and in the stock in our group chat, we definitely do talk about different stocks to look out for that are kind of rising in the pre-market. So and that's what I'm going to be talking. I have 3 to 5 stocks I'm going to be watching for tomorrow. RGSU is one, SCYX is one, GoPro is one, because I think because of some of the news that was released, it might have a spike. Again, you guys have to wait and kind of do your own analysis and see how it opens in during the pre-market. And if you guys have Robinhood Gold, then you guys can actually jump on that. So now I'm gonna do my best practice. Since I talked about my mistakes of not locking in my profit, I'm going to talk about my best practice. I kind of already touched on that topic. So my best practice from last week of trading was actually locking in my profits. Although I wasn't able to lock in all my profits, I did it like twice. Wasn't able to lock in all my profits when I was in the green. I was able to lock in my profits at a way smaller profit margin than I did before. And overall, I think that's led to my success with the last month of trading. Past 3 to 4 months has been one of the most successful just growth that I've been able to see within my account, and that's really just because I haven't been greedy. I've been staying close to just those tools, just rules that we have set up with TechBud Solutions, and setting a whole game plan before trading. So with this week and the weeks to come, I'm going to make sure that I lock in my profits when I'm in the green, and to not get greedy whatsoever. If I'm up 5%, if I'm up 8%, regardless if my goal is 10%, being able to identify those resistance and trying to lock them in a little bit beforehand is truly going to continuously, lead to your success when it comes to growing your account in the long run. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in. I hope you guys found this video somewhat helpful. I feel like I went into a little bit more information, or a little bit more to the questions that you guys had. So hopefully you guys found this video somewhat helpful. Again, if you guys want to be a part of TechBud Solutions, the links are going to be provided for you down below. If you guys found this video somewhat helpful, thumbs up would be highly appreciated. And if you guys want to stay tuned for our daily recaps and weekly recaps, and all the car videos that we have available and upload, you guys can click the subscribe button would greatly appreciate it. And if I can be a part of your success, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in and taking time out of your Sunday. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and let's make sure that we start the week on a green note. Take care, guys.